Minnesota. This is Christy Thompson with Christy Legal. I am a divorce and custody mediator for Minnesota. And, I want to help my clients more than with just their divorce and custody case. And so I like to introduce you guys to professionals who I think might be able to help you. And one thing, when you're going through a divorce or a custody case, you might have a lot of emotional negativity. And so because of that, I like to know people who might be able to help you with that emotional negativity. And so someone who I have joining to me today is Dawn Bennett from Touch Remedies. And I'm not even going to try to explain what she does. She can do it much better. And so take it away, Dawn. Thanks for
having me, Christy. Yeah, so I'm actually a relationship coach and an emotional freedom techniques practitioner. What my goal is to help people transition emotionally in whatever it is that they're going through. So if you're going through pain or heartbreak because of divorce, if you're trying to decide what to do, how to navigate that, because a lot of things that we experience in our relationship, whether we're choosing divorce or not, right? Even if we're in a long-term relationship, or even if we're in a friendship, or even if we're in a, with coworkers, that's a relationship in a certain way, right? We're dealing with these people every day and there's some kind of trust built up and some kind of cohesion that's happening. So I help people navigate the emotional stressors that happen when we have interactions that don't quite go so well. So what I want to work with today and kind of play with for all of you, so you get a little taster of how emotional freedom techniques works. EFT, by the way, emotional freedom techniques, it's also called tapping. So you may have seen or heard about this. Not all tapping is EFT, right? So some people will tap for other reasons, but emotional freedom techniques is a special kind of technique. And what it does is it helps change the way that your brain accesses information around an event. In other words, a situation, right? Like a situation like, oh, the fight with my husband last week, or the annoyance that my kid didn't do his homework, or whatever it is. That leftover residual emotion that keeps getting stirred up in our brain is often something that can be neutralized, right? So we can look at a situation, past, present, or future, with calm and clarity and choice and confidence now, instead of anger, frustration, fear, annoyance, irritation, all those like normal things that we experience as humans, whether we want to or not, right? So what I want to play with today is just, if you have a piece of paper and pen, great. If you don't, just kind of think about one in your head. I want you to think of a pet peeve that you have, because we all have them, right? Something that kind of annoys you or irritates you. Not something over the top, but like maybe it's your husband doesn't take out the garbage when you ask, or your wife loads the dishwasher wrong, right? Or that coworker doesn't respond to your emails fast enough, right? That thing that just kind of drives you a little bit batty, right? People that don't brush all the snow off their hood in a snowstorm, right? Whatever that is. So just think about that. And what I want you to do is I want you to think about a particular time you've experienced being annoyed, triggered, emotionally heightened, right? About that, right? Because if you think about every time you've gotten annoyed by somebody that didn't take out the garbage, right? Your brain's like, that's way too much to deal with. And now all of a sudden it becomes emotionally overwhelming to work with, which is why sometimes if you try doing tapping online on YouTube videos, if you're not really specific to to a situation that you experienced or that you're making up, and how you feel about it now, then, like if you start just tapping on, oh, all the times that I'm irritated with my husband, like, oh my gosh, your brain's just, it can't deal with that, right? So all you're going to do is make yourself more annoyed, and you're going to be like, this tapping crap doesn't work, right? But if you think about one little time that you were annoyed, now your brain has a place to focus. And then we can clear that time. And because of the way the brain works, it'll start clearing all the other times as well. So that's what I love about emotional freedom techniques. So I teach my clients how to do it for themselves. They and I work on the really deep, kind of really emotional triggering stuff together, traumas, really over the top emotional stuff. So I can really help support them through that. But kind of the day-to-day annoyances, you got this on your own. So I don't have time to teach it to you 100% in the little bit of time that we have here. But we can do a little demo today. So if you have any questions or anything too, I think if you pop it in the Facebook chat, I think it pops up. Maybe not. Otherwise, I'll go back and answer later. So I haven't done a live in a long time. Okay, so think about right now, that one time where you got annoyed, irritated, that one pet peeve, right? So maybe it's last Wednesday when that happened, or knowing that, tomorrow it's going to happen. Like tomorrow your kid's not going to get up for school. And the reason why we can do something in the future, by the way, it's because your brain doesn't know the difference between past, present, and future, which is why when you think about that argument you got into 2 weeks ago, why you can still be angry, right? Is because your brain pulls it in as if it's now. And why you can be worried about your future of your finances now by thinking about, oh, what might happen after I get divorced, because your brain's pulling it as now. So if we work on it as if it's now, how are we feeling about it right now? We're actually truly accessing that pathway in our brain and in our nervous system, if that makes sense. With me? Great. All right. So thinking about the one time, just notice right now, how do you feel thinking about it? So maybe when they loaded the dishwasher wrong, you were just annoyed, but maybe now you're sad because you're like, why don't they just learn how to do the dishwasher right? Or why can't they listen to me? Or maybe you feel disrespected, right? So how do you feel right now thinking about it? Just tune into that for a second. And then how strong is that emotion? So 0 meaning you're not feeling it at all, and 10 meaning, oh my God, it's over the top. About where in that range are you? Just kind of guesstimate, we're just trying to get an average. And then if you feel it somewhere in your body, where is that spot? Okay, and write those things down. So the event, if you've got a piece of paper, otherwise just take a mental note. So what are you thinking about? What's the emotion? How strong is it? And where do you feel it in your body? Now, normally, if I was working with you individually, we would actually tap on your exact specific situation and how you feel about it and where it is in your body and all of that with an acceptance phrase. But this is a group tap along. So what I'm going to do again is I'm going to make up a situation. And what I want you to do is I want you to tap the same points I'm tapping, say the same phrases I'm saying, okay, even though you're just thinking about a different event, or you were just. We're going to actually tap on the event that I'm making up because your brain already knows that we're kind of working on the one that you're thinking about. Does that make sense? Because the brain's like, oh, I'm smarter than this. I totally know what I'm working on. Okay. All right. So the first point is going to be the side of the hand. And it doesn't matter what hand you tap on, right? Doesn't matter how fast or slow you tap. So just find a rhythm and just repeat after me. So even though I'm feeling annoyed in my chest, thinking about Wednesday, when my partner didn't take out the garbage again, and I had to do it myself after a long day of work. I'm open to letting that go. And now we're going to read the same thing again. Even though I feel annoyed in my chest, thinking about last Wednesday, my partner didn't take out the garbage, and I had to do it myself after a really long day at work. But I accept that I feel this way. So even though I feel annoyed in my chest, thinking about last Wednesday, when my partner didn't take out the garbage, and I had to do it myself after a long day of work, I accept myself. Okay. So now we're going to tap on the top of your head, and we're just going to say the emotion and where we feel it in our body, right? So in this example, it's the annoyance in my chest. The next spot is right on the inside corner of the eye. So you can tap both sides. You can tap one side. Doesn't matter. Annoyance in my chest. The next point is on the temples. Once again, one side or the other, doesn't matter. Annoyance in my chest. The next spot is under the eyes, right on the cheekbone there. Annoyance in my chest. Good, keep breathing and stuff, all that good stuff. And then tap under your nose, between your nose and your mouth. Annoyed in my chest. And then between your mouth and your chin. Annoyed in my chest. Then under the collarbone. So kind of in that soft spot, you can kind of feel it. This is the side, this is one that we usually tap both sides at once no matter what. So if you're only using one hand, you can kind of use your hand to kind of hit both. Or, you know, with kids, we like have them make like a like little monkey, you know, little ape sounds, because, you know, kids are really flexible like that. Okay, so annoyance in my chest. And the last point's under the arm. So if you reach kind of right across in the armpit, or you can do the same side, right? Annoyance in my chest. You're going to take a quick breath. Then usually I have my clients take a little bit of water, and then you're going to look, we would normally look at, okay, so now thinking about that same event, how intense is my emotion from 0 to 10? Where is it in my body? And do I still feel the same emotion, or did another emotion pop up that's stronger now? And what we want to see is a change in any one of those things. Okay, and if we have a change, then we know that we're making good progress. Even if the number goes up, you're like, oh my gosh, I was only annoyed at a 4, but now I'm super annoyed at an 8, right? That's okay, because sometimes we have to suppress things to get along a little bit. And we're trying not to let our annoyance out, because after all, it shouldn't be such a big deal that I'm so annoyed about something so stupid like the garbage, right? So we like shove it all down there. And then we start working with it, and it releases from our body and it releases from our emotions. And so it might go up a little bit. So we're just going to do another round. Wow. And by the way, you can do this with any situation.
Thank you for saying that, because I would have never like thought like, oh, it could get worse before it gets better. I mean, I've heard people say that about a lot of stuff. That's really cool. That, because I was gonna ask you, like, you know, so you know, how much better do your clients, you know, often feel after the first tapping session? So that's like my first question, like, what's kind of the range of improvement that you've had from your clients after the tapping sessions? And then and, you know, thank you for telling us that it might actually feel worse for a while, but it does make I'm very logical, and it makes logical sense to me, right, that if you're releasing, you know, a bunch of negativity, that it would feel worse first.
Yep. And usually like one more round will bring it right back down. So it usually doesn't stay up for very long. And if it stays up, it means you're working on something too big. It means you're thinking about all the times, and your brain's like, all the times, oh gosh, you know, that's a lot, you know? So if it keeps going up and up and up, then get more specific with what you're working on. Like really focus on that one time, you know? Or maybe it wasn't just the one time, maybe they rolled your eyes at you. You know, maybe it wasn't about the fact they didn't take out the garbage, but the fact that they rolled their eyes when you asked them to do it, right? So you might be like, oh, it's not about that, it's about something different, right? So that's what we do. So with my clients, we usually do a series of sessions, and the first one's all about teaching them how to do it themselves. And we work on something for an hour in the first session, and everybody sees improvement, or at least my clients so far, right? Because we work on something that we know we can get, like, we're not going to work on a car accident or like the trauma of breaking up, like session 1, right? We're going to work on something like little, so you get used to the rhythm of it, you get used to like knowing how it works and like feeling some success. So yeah, but overall my clients have seen quite a bit of success. Like, yeah, some things are more challenging to move through than others. Some things might take 3 sessions, some things might be gone in 15 minutes, and then we're like, okay, what do we want to work on next in this session? So we always set our goals so we know exactly where we're going and what we're looking for. So that way the clients really have the power to make sure that they're getting clear with what they want. So that's it. I mean, I could go through another round. I know we were trying for 15 minutes, but I also do, like, you know, consults for people 20 minutes or an hour. If you want to learn it a little more clearly, they can reach out to me on Facebook, check out my YouTube channel, all the stuff.
Yeah. Were you going to do like a little wrap up thing, like that I interrupted you from doing?
Oh, I was just going to say, if we wanted the points again really quick, we could. Otherwise, I wanted people to check back in and just see that even though we didn't tap on their stuff specifically, did their numbers or did something change about what they were tapping on, right? So even though we tapped on a made up situation, often something will shift within people's own individual numbers. So that's kind of what I wanted to point out, because it's a fun little playful way to let people see like how powerful the brain can be when you give it the right tools.
So we do have one, well, I see that Sean Waite was with us for a while.
Lovely.
And then one of my friends, Anne, she said, I have done tapping before. It is great.
Yay. Awesome. Yeah, I love it. I mean, I've been doing healing work for 23 years. And when I found tapping, I was like, this is what I've been looking for everybody, where they can help themselves, but also get support from me. And it's such a great synergy to work together that way.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for being with us tonight. And could you please, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you? It is in the information in the post and everything. But I used to be a teacher, and I know that everybody's learns differently. So maybe it'll stick with them if you say it and they see it.
Exactly. So my website is Touch Remedies. That's REMEDIES.com. So they can reach me through there. They can see all the stuff I do. There's links to YouTube channel. There's some free stuff, all the good stuff, like most websites. Otherwise, you can find me here on Facebook under Dawn Bennett or under Touch Remedies. I also have a landing page for people that are looking something more specific for divorce called EFT, the number 4 divorce.com. And that's more of a landing page that really says, hey, here's some other tools that are really helpful when you're navigating divorce itself. So that's another place people can find me.
Did you hear that, folks? A specific service for when you're going through divorce.
That's right.
All right.
Because I like to help people, move through that so they can feel love again instead of heartbreak.
Yes, there is the pot at the end of the rainbow. Thanks for your time tonight, and thanks for your time for whoever watched. And again, you can reach Dawn if this is interesting to you. And of course, if you need divorce or custody help, reach out to me, Christy Thompson with Christy Legal. Have a great rest of your evening.